Guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title, this is definitely not book related, but I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about something that I did a year ago today that changed my life. You guys are probably wondering why I'm making this video, especially on a book channel. The reason behind that is you guys on this channel have been with me since day one at my heaviest. If you look back at some of my videos, you will see that I'm definitely a lot bigger than I am now. And I don't know, you guys have been here since day one. You've asked me a bunch of questions on what I've done to lose weight. So some of you aren't aware that I have had weight loss surgery done. And so I knew this was a place that I wanted to come on here and talk about my journey with you guys. But I am going to be having a new channel called Everything in Between. It is a place for me to talk a lot more about weight loss and fitness and health and some beauty stuff here and there. Just a place where I could talk about whatever I want and just keeping this channel strictly for books because I just want to keep that to itself. Then my other channel will be everything else. So hopefully you will subscribe to that. There's nothing on there just yet, but there will be soon. So if you are new to this channel and have no idea who I am, my name is Nicole. I am 23 years old and I live in New York. This is my book channel that I have where I talk about books. But today I'm not talking about books. I'm talking about something a little more personal. So if you're here because you want to know about my weight loss journey, then please keep watching. And if you like books, then please subscribe to this channel. But do know that I will be having another channel that you can subscribe to down below where I will be talking more about weight loss stuff and just everything that I want to talk about. So if you like me and you think I'm semi-interesting, then please subscribe. And yeah. So on May 24th, 2016, I went under gastric sleeve surgery, which is a weight loss surgery. You are probably wondering why I did something so drastic, so I'm here to kind of tell you my little story as to why I did it and just my struggle with food and my weight throughout my life. So ever since I can remember, I have always been overweight. I was born almost 10 pounds, and by the time I was in middle school, I was well into the 300s. And my relationship with food has always been a struggle. I always looked at it for comfort, and it just made me happy and just filled with so much joy. I remember just either coming home from school and just getting so excited to eat and like just having that bag of chips, or I used to love having like Hot Pockets and just a bag of Doritos. Like that was my everything. And I would just like plan out my meals with like myself, and I realized just how unhealthy it was looking back. My favorite part of the day was being able to eat all by myself. And looking back at it now, it's pretty kind of sad to think about that that was something that I just looked forward to. And at that age, at any young age, you're not really aware of a eating disorder that you may have. You kind of just think that this is a normal way of life. I never really thought myself as being fat. I just thought I was like normal, I guess, until I was called fat all the time, or I always kind of got the side eye from my dad, or he always told me, you know, you shouldn't eat that much. And when that happened, that's when I really started to develop a actual eating disorder, which is binge eating. And I would also kind of like hide food. I would choose to not eat that much food at dinner time. And then when I was done, I would kind of like take food with me, put it in like a napkin, and like go into my room. And then also I would just like try not to eat throughout the day. And then once nighttime came, that was it. Nighttime was the worst. That's when I ate the most. I mean, I would eat high quantities of food. I don't remember the feeling of being full. Now I'm always full. But, you know, just a year ago, I don't remember what it was like to be full. I remember what it was like to feel sick, because I would eat so much to the point where I would want to like throw up because I just ate so much. But yeah, I just always just ate a lot of food. And that was my biggest problem. I want to say that throughout the last 5 years, I've been eating good. Like, my family has been sticking to very just organic foods, lots of vegetables and whole grains. And really, if you would look into my house, like, you would not think fat people live there. You know, the stereotypical fat person has candy and cookies and chips and junk food. But we had like whole wheat pasta and like quinoa and flax seeds and just like anything healthy was in my house. But I worked my way around that, and I made myself still overeat a lot. Even if it was good food, I still ate until I couldn't eat no more. But yeah, since I could remember, I've been dieting my whole life. I remember being on Weight Watchers and losing like 20 pounds. And that was like the best feeling in the world when I was like 12. So being such a young age and going on these diets, I would be so strict for a week and then just fall off the wagon once again. I tried so many different diets, and I've lost and I've gained, but it never really worked out in the long run. And then when I was around 16, I want to say, I was seeing an endocrinologist because I was having a bunch of different health issues relating to my weight. I had sleep apnea, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, hypothyroidism. So I had all these issues. I was taking all these pills at such a young age. When I was seeing my doctor, she mentioned that there was a place in Columbia Hospital here in New York that was doing lap bands for adolescents. And I was like, oh my God, that's so good. I remember hearing so much about the lap band. It was the big thing then. And so I went to go see the surgeon. They put me on like a program. I had to lose a certain amount of weight. It's kind of like the same thing that you have to do with the sleeve. And I had to, you know, see a nutritionist every month and so on. I was never strict with it. I never kept up with it. And my dad was not a fan of me having the lap band done. He wanted me to lose weight the natural way, but ultimately it just wasn't for me, and I just kind of slacked on that. I hardly ever went to the appointment. You know, again, my head wasn't in it. I was kind of like scared to do it as well because I was still so young. Once I decided not to do the lap band, you know, I made a pact to myself once again that I was going to eat healthy and go to the gym and blah blah blah. And that happened again, you know. I was losing weight here and there, you know, the same old thing. I joined the gym, I went once or twice, never went back again, right? It's the same thing every time. Then I was well into the 400s by the time I was like 18, I want to say. And then I kind of just stopped. I kind of gave up on surgery. I kind of gave up on dieting as well because there was a point in my life where I wanted to lose weight again. And I joined the gym. I remember going on like the treadmill or something, or the elliptical, and the machine just wasn't working. It just kept making this noise. How on a elliptical you're going like this, and it's smooth. This was like, and that's because these machines do have a weight limit. I was just way too big to be on an exercise machine, and that was like insane to me. I was like, wow, if I can't even go to a gym, how am I going to lose weight? And I know there's so many other ways, believe me, there's so many other ways to work out that don't involve spending money on a gym. I love the idea of going to the gym. It made me feel good, and like, I don't know, I felt like I was doing something great for myself. And the fact that I couldn't go, it pissed me off, and it just made me so upset. I was just like, screw this shit. I am not doing this anymore. I'm done. I'm just done. That's just when I basically just gave up. I didn't want to work out anymore. I didn't want to lose weight anymore. You know, here and there I still tried, but my heart and my head was just not in it whatsoever. So just time and time and time went by, and I was probably gaining more weight. I never owned a scale. I never, you know, seen if I was gaining weight or not, only when I was going to the doctor. So finally, I was doing more research and stuff, and I heard about the gastric sleeve. So when I was doing my research on the sleeve, I thought, wow, this is something that could definitely work for me and for what I need. And you know, I've always watched My 600 Pound Life, and ultimately I like to say that that show inspired me so much to get this done, because that was going to be me soon, and I knew that I could not allow myself to get to that point. I was binging my 600-pound life, and I was researching all the before and afters and people who were getting it done, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And so I made my first appointment. If you guys live in the New York tri-state area and you want to know my doctor, then I will definitely give you his information. So I made my appointment, and I go there, you know, you do all your typical paperwork, and then I remember stepping on the scale. And this was like probably the moment in my life where you would think like I would be like so shocked. This is probably when I knew that I definitely had an issue. That was when I went on the scale. I saw that I was 541 pounds. Like any other person would look at that number and be like, wow, that's crazy. Like, how did I let myself get to that point? My reaction was, oh, I thought it was gonna be worse. It's not that bad, you know? And that's like crazy to me to think that I wasn't so shocked, you know? I was just like, oh, well, I saw that number and it didn't affect me, which is weird, right? I saw my surgeon. I was on a 6-month program. That's what my insurance advised. And basically he told me to lose 41 pounds. He wanted me to at least be under 500 because it's safer that way as well when he does the surgery. I met with a nutritionist. She put me on a plan, and then I had to go to basically a support group every month, and I met with different people who were also getting the surgery as well. It was a place where people were able to talk about how they were feeling, but also get a lot of information about it and what to expect before and after surgery, the different foods to eat and to avoid. But also they spoke about the mental part of it, which I think was the most important, and I think that's something that a lot of people just forget. So the 6 months went by, I lost, I think, more than 41 pounds. I think I lost like 45 pounds, and he was so happy with it. I got approved by my insurance, and just everything went well. And I got my surgery date for May 24th, and I was like beyond excited, but obviously I was like scared shitless because I never went through surgery in my life. So 2 days before surgery, I was on a pre-liquid diet. There's some people who are on a 2-week liquid diet. Praise you, I have no idea how you do it. Thankfully my surgeon only did 2 days. Basically it's a way to kind of cleanse out your body and make sure there's like no food or nothing in it, and of course it's also safer. So after the cleanse was basically done, I was the first one to get the surgery done that day. I had to go in at like 4 a.m. And you know, I was mentally preparing myself throughout all of this, not really, but I feel like the moment it really got hard was, I think, was going into that room and putting on my gown and looking at myself and realizing what I'm about to do. You prepare for this. You know this day is going to come, but when it comes, it's like, oh my God. And I guess I never thought in a million years that I would have got to a point in my life to have to get surgery done to lose weight. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to have to resort to that. There has always been this like part of me, especially at that moment, where I was just so mad at myself because something bad could happen if I get this surgery done. You know, nothing is guaranteed. And the fact that I was putting myself through this, I was mad because I shouldn't have let myself get to that point. No one's goals in life should be to weigh over 500 pounds or be unhealthy. That was ever my goal for myself, but it happened. And there was just no turning back. So, you know, I went into that OR room and it happened. You know, I got it done. I woke up and I was like, I wasn't really in pain. I was just like, where the hell am I? But the worst pain was probably just my back hurt a lot because I was just in a terrible position for a long time. But for the most part, I wasn't really in pain. But yeah, I was on Tylenol extra strength through the IV. They got me walking. Walking is super important after you get surgery done. They want you to kind of release your gas from both ways. I forgot how many ounces I had to consume that day, but I had to have like an ounce every hour, and I was fine. I never threw up. I never got sick or nothing. The girl next to me got sick and that was like terrifying, but she was okay. But yeah, I was walking all the time. The nurses there were amazing. And then eventually after that one night, I was sent home because everything looked good and my surgery went well. So thank God for that. And then once I got home, that was probably the worst part. I want to say the first week was the most challenging, especially mentally. While I wasn't really in pain, the only pain that I was in was the area where my stomach actually came out. I had 5 incisions where they did the surgery laparoscopic. One incision is where they took the actual stomach out, which was around like 80% of it. You know, if you want to know more information about the gastric sleeve, like thoroughly, I will link all the information down below. But basically, they took out around 80% of my stomach, and it came out of one little slit. So that was the area that was like really painful. But it was nothing unbearable. I didn't take any pain meds. So it just felt like my muscle was like being like teared open. But that's it. It wasn't that bad. I couldn't sleep on my stomach, which is the only way I sleep. So my back I was laying on, it was just miserable. But I think the worst part was like just having like this severe amount of regret. I felt like I made the worst decision of my life. Like I did something so stupid and I should have never done it. But eventually that mindset went away. I started to get the hang of things. Having my liquids every hour and making sure I was drinking. I had to drink 48 to 64 ounces a day, and that had to be over the course of around 12 hours. So you're constantly having to drink, monitor myself, make sure I listen to my body. Slowly put on soft foods and then solid foods. Every doctor is different as to how long that is, on if you could have salads there, if you could have this meat or this or that. Every doctor is different, so what my doctor told me to do is may not be what your doctor is telling you to do. So yeah, after that, it's been a year now, and sometimes I feel like it's been this big dream. Like I always thought I would be this big girl forever, and then there was no way to escape it. That this was going to be my life. I was always going to be heavy. My weight was always going to control me, which it did for most of my life. Even though I've lost over 200 pounds and I'm now 279 pounds, I still feel like I'm 500 pounds. When you've been something your whole life and then in a year, half of your weight is gone, it's amazing, right? Sometimes your mind doesn't catch up quick enough and you still feel like that person. But sometimes it's still so hard to understand that I am in the 200s. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I can't grasp it. No, I never had a goal weight for myself. I never said, oh, I want to be this weight. I want to be this size. I never ever had one. And I still don't have a goal weight. I would like to be under 200, but I don't have a number. And I've lost so much weight in 1 year. You know, I went from a size 36 in jeans, which, yeah, they make those. My shirts were a 5X or a 30-32. And now my pants are a size 20. And my top, I don't even know what it is anymore. I think it's an 18 now. I still don't believe it. You know, sometimes I have to like pinch myself. Like when I go shopping, I'm like, I still pick up the 5X. Like, wake up, you know? For me, the hardest part is letting go of that addiction, because as people may not believe it, but food is an addiction. But like when I got the surgery done, it was almost like that addiction was taken from me out of like thin air. You know, I may have not been hungry, but my mind was starving for a long time. It still is. My mind is still always hungry. My stomach is good, but my head, I want it all. And so that's still something that I have to learn to cope with, and over time I hope it will get better. If you're getting this surgery done, just know that the mental aspect of this is the hardest part ever, because when you've been eating foods that are this big in size, you have a plate like this piled high with food that you could scarf down in minutes, and then one day that's taken from you. You have to eat this much. And while your stomach is satisfied, your mind is racing. Your mind wants it all. And that's been the hardest part, is fighting this addiction. You have to start to find new ways to cope with things. If something was going on that I wasn't happy with, I turned to food. After this surgery is done, you cannot turn to food no more. That's why they tell you that if you get this surgery done, that people can form other addictions with alcohol or drugs, sex, gambling, whatever the addiction is. Some people can form it. I felt lost not having the food there. For a normal person, food is food. Some people wake up and don't even eat. Food's not on their mind. For 22 years, I looked for food as this comfort, and when it's taken from you, it's the hardest thing, because food is everywhere. Food is everywhere I go. And that's something that I'm going to have to keep learning and keep coping with, and just find better and healthier alternatives instead of putting it into another addiction, which thankfully I haven't done. It is an everyday struggle still. I'm a year out of surgery. I've lost all this weight, but it's still a struggle every single day. And it probably will be a struggle for a long time. But it's something that I've done the hard part. Right now I'm still doing the hard part. I've lost a big chunk of this weight, and next year I'm gonna be hopefully losing more, and then I have another big step, which is skin removal, which is a whole nother ball game. Skin removal is gonna be probably the worst thing I'm gonna have to go through, because that is no joke. But my journey is never ending right now. It's always going to be something, and I'm excited, I'm scared. I can't dwell on it anymore. I made the choice to gain all this weight and to become over 500 pounds. And, I took action, but I have to accept the fact that I went to that weight, but that I did something about it, and that, that's the past. I was once this morbidly obese girl, but I'm not going to be anymore. I'm going to live a healthier life, and that's it. I'm not here to fit into a dress. I'm not here to, do all these things that are meaningless. I'm now free of sleep apnea, of high blood pressure, of high cholesterol, of high thyroidism. I'm free of all that. I'm no longer unhealthy because I made a choice to take control of my life. And while people may think that this is the easy way out, I just put yourself in our shoes and know that it is not easy whatsoever. There's nothing easy about this life. It's hard to have a food addiction when you can only eat this much. So there's so much self-control in this new life that I have that I never thought that I had, because I can't physically, the food addiction can't control me anymore because my stomach won't allow it, okay? It just won't. If you guys have any other questions about this surgery, I want to do more videos on this with my new channel. Just talk more in depth about the surgery and just the whole journey in itself. My biggest advice if you're gonna have this surgery is just do your research. Know what you're gonna get yourself into. If you want to find a surgeon, please research them as much as you can. Make sure they are the best for you, and ultimately find a safe place to go, whether it is a support group. My safe zone is my Instagram. I met such amazing people on there who have gone through the same thing as me. A lot of the girls have the same exact date as me, which is, I think, crazy. And in your real life, you feel very alone. Not many people understand what you're going through. And when you find people that are going through the same thing, it just makes this journey a lot easier. So definitely find something, find message boards, find a Facebook group, go on Instagram, go to a local area that has support groups, just find something. I highly just recommend that, because that kind of saved me. It saved me to, you know, reach out to other people who have gotten this done and just know I'm not alone in this, because no matter how many friends you have, they'll never understand you and what you're going through. So definitely just find people that can relate to you and what you're going through. Thank you for listening to my story, and it wasn't too boring. Obviously there's so much more that I could talk about that I will eventually discuss and talk about, and I hope with this new channel that I'm going to create that I will just talk about more things and just give my opinion on things and talk about whatever I want. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next video.